Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on complex system simulations with Modelica and Dymola. Hope everyone is safe with your family during this pandemic situation. Just to let everyone know, a recorded version of this webinar will be made available to everyone. The links will be shared by email, the same email that you received the webinar invites. So you will receive the link to download the webinars. Of course, we would love to hear from you. The questions will be taken towards the end of the session, but please feel free to post your questions in the chat box anytime during the webinar, and we will take the questions towards the end. And we will try taking as many questions as we can. And for all of us who have just joined us, welcome again to this webinar, Complex System Simulation with Modelica and Dymola. So let me quickly go through today's agenda. Yes. I will have a very quick introduction about Deso Systems and Trident Infosol, the two companies that are responsible for bringing this webinar to you today. In the next part of the webinar, we'll have Mr. Kiran, who will be taking us through 1D mathematical modeling. He will help us to understand what Modelica and how they work with Dymola. Later part of the webinar, we have Mr. Vijay. He has some very interesting case studies to share with us, along with some live demos. He will be taking us through various industry domain examples. So we will have Vijay do that part of it. Towards the end, he will also be talking about FMI and how it helps multiple tools today to talk with each other. And again, at the end of the webinar, Kiran will once again be talking about some of the latest features of Dymola and what are the advantages of bringing Dymola on the 3D Experience platform today. And like I already mentioned, the questions will be addressed towards the end of the webinar. So let me quickly introduce you to the first company, which is Trident Infosol. Trident Infosol, we are completing close to 2 decades of operation in the industry today. We have offices across India, and we are known in the industry as a complete solution provider. And moving along, we have Deso Systems. I think most of you who are attending this webinar knows something about Deso Systems, because it's very rare that companies do not use one or the other solution from Deso, because they have a wide range of verticals in which they support various industries. Deso is a scientific company with over close to 18,000 people working worldwide. And like I mentioned, they support various industries, multiple branding products. So we have close to about 2.5 lakh customers worldwide. And again, talking about all the partners, where Trident is one of the partners talking today, over close to 12,600 partners across the globe. They have system integrators, the education, the research partners, and so multiple partners they work with. And it's roughly about a $3.5 billion company today. And so how do these two companies work together in the same ecosystem? So Trident works with various companies, various software vendors who provides a lot of solutions. And Deso is our prime, the most valuable customer that we are working with today. I mean, everybody can recognize this slide. It's the V cycle. The left and the right extremes that you see are all the companies that Trident work with. And as I walk through, you will see how significant Deso is in the complete development of the product lifecycle. So if you see, they start with, even with system requirements, they have say various products like Rectify, AgroSim that you see there, and then with SysML products. Today we are going to be talking about Dymola and some part of FMI as well. So Deso plays a major role in that part of subsystem design. And when it comes to implementation on the ECU software, they have solutions on AutoSAR development and multiple other solutions as well. So they have solutions that will help you to take to Hill platforms and many other things. So yes, so that brings to end of my presentation. I would like to hand over this to our technical experts today. So we have two speakers. First one is Mr. Kiran Jacob. Kiran has been working with Deso Systems for close to 10 plus years now. His overall industry experience is about 14 plus years. He's been working today as solution consultant manager at Deso Systems. Kiran's major expertise comes with system engineering, and I've personally been working with Kiran close to 5-6 years now. We have worked with several customers. With Kiran's extensive knowledge on systems engineering, we have helped customers apply the Deso technology and bring a lot of advantages to the customers. So I mean, Kiran is the right person to talk about Dymola, Modelica today because of the vast experience that he brings on the table. Our next speaker for today is Mr. Vijay, who will be covering some of the live examples and some FMI topics. Vijay has been working as a design and application engineer at Trident Infosol. He comes with a mechatronics background, and again, he also vastly works with model-based system design tools, and he carries over 5+ years of experience on that. So over to our two speakers today. So it'll be first Kiran, who will be taking us through some of the presentation. So Kiran, over to you now.
Yeah, thanks, Sharat. It was a quick and good introduction that we had. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you can see my screen. My name is Kiran Jacob. As Sharat introduced me, I work on System Engineering. So before we get into Modelica and the world of Daimler, I just want to give you a quick introduction on where does Dassault stand in System Engineering portfolio. As you know, I think Dassault is known by its premier product solution called CATIA. But somewhere down around 2007, Dassault did make kind of made it very clear that they do want to get into system engineering, and that happened with the acquisition of Dynasim, which is otherwise called as Daimola, which happened in 2007, and then sequentially we had some acquisitions as well. So some of them being GeneSoft, where we acquired Rectify, Control Build, and AutoSAR Builder. Then we have recently acquired NoMagic and Argosim, and then we are getting into something known as system simulation apps that I will be talking about that later. So moving on, if you look at the ecosystem on system engineering, or specifically on PhYS modeling, the ecosystem is built around Modelica. So the Modelica is kind of the heart of our ecosystem, where most of our simulation apps have been built around Modelica. So there are two key products or two key solutions that we have on Modelica. One is Daimola, of course, and then we also have Daimola on the platform, which is called Dynamic Behavioral Modeling. Moving on, we also have started to build our own libraries based on Modelica, just to cater different needs of the customer for different applications. And then we also have the services part of it, where we also communicate with customers on the services. If you mind, if you can mute your phones. I can hear a lot of background noise. Thank you. And then we are also moving towards FMI, where we're going to invest a lot in terms of interfacing Daimler with other solutions as well. So before getting into Daimola, I thought it would be good that we have some discussion on what is mathematical modeling, because what I see that not everybody relates to Daimola directly. They would need some kind of understanding. So for this specific reason, I have a slide on what is mathematical modeling and what is 1D mathematical modeling. So in this scenario, what I'm doing is I'm taking an example of a suspension system. It's a quarter car suspension system. If people who relate to vehicle dynamics know that you can have a full car, you can have a half car, and you can also have a quarter car. So quarter car is nothing but one suspension system under sleep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through this 1D mathematical modeling through this example. So let's start with this. So say suppose I'm an engineer who was probably when I started my career as a system engineer, if somebody had come up with the problem of suspension system, this is how would I have looked at that problem. I would have seen the problem as a mass spring dampener system with mass and spring dampener connected to it, and then I would have built a kind of a free body diagram, and this is how it would look like. I would have divided the problem in terms of driver and seat mass, sprung mass, unstrung mass of wheel, and then put a free body diagram. And then what I would have done is I would have probably asked for parameters. So these are some of the parameters that will go into the model. And then as part of controls engineering goes, you actually derive equations of motion. So there are three equations of motion that I have to derive, one with respect to driver and seat mass, the equation of mass with the sprung mass and the unsprung mass. So basically what I've done is I've taken a physical problem, I've built a mathematical equivalent of that physical problem. And then as control engineers go, they might represent it as a state space equation. Right? This is how the ABCD matrix looks like. And then I would need some kind of analysis tool to do that analysis. So it could be some like C or any scripting kind of tool. So I would probably write code like this, do the analysis, and then finally I would get the results. So this would probably, if I know my tool, if I know my domain, if I know the concept, it will take a couple of weeks to do this. So understand the problem, get the equations, and then run the simulation. Then something happened. So people stopped using CN Fortran or some kind of modeling language because they thought it's kind of it's not a way of doing it. So then came block diagram tools where you actually can quickly build a model. So I can quickly build a mastering dampener, connect it, and run the simulation. So 3 or 4 weeks job become 1 week's job, but I still need to know the tool and the equations. Modelica is a little different. Modelica is a concept where you actually don't get into equations much. We give you predefined components. So if I'm a user of Modelica and I'm using any of the Modelica simulation tools, I don't have to learn equation as such. What I need to understand, what kind of components do I use. So a week's problem would easily become a day's problem. So I could easily model this within a day and run my simulation, right? And then, but again, there is what you're doing is you're imagining a suspension system as a mathematical equivalent in terms of mastering dampener, which may not actually suffice the purpose, because what you're doing is converting a nonlinear problem to a linear problem and doing the simulation. What you need is an actual nonlinear problem. So the world today has changed. The industry needs have changed. People don't want to get into equations. And what do they ask for is they would ask for a predefined library. And this is where we come in. The Daimler as a software gives you a lot of predefined components. You just use those components, feed the data, and get the results. So that the delay in getting the equations, running it, validating it, kind of mitigated. So this takes me to Modelica. So Modelica, for people who don't know Modelica, Model is actually an open language, an open source language used extensively for dynamic simulation. So if your problem involves dynamic simulations or dynamic behavior, that's when Modelica comes in. It has some unique capabilities which other modeling language doesn't have. One, it's very intuitive language. If you look at other modeling languages, like very explicit, you have to explicitly write the equations, get the results. Whereas Modelica is very intuitive. Most of it is pre-built. You can use the libraries, components directly and get the simulation. And it is very efficient and robust in terms of simulation. So usually what happened with earlier simulation tool is that if you have a non-linearity, if you have a still problem, you would get into errors and the tool is not able to compile it. Modelica was an answer to that. And then it supports multi-physics. Usually the problem nowadays is, gone are the days where systems are purely mechanical, hydraulic, pneumatic. Now you see a combination of systems. For example, you have an electric motor running a hydraulic pump is running a mechanical load, and then you're doing also the kinematic analysis for it. That's where Modelica addresses this, when there is multi-domain or multi-physics involved. So moving on, so there are some key aspects of Modelica. One is it helps you with faster development because most of it is ready-made. You can quickly build different combinations of system and do simulation. It is an open language, so nobody owns Modelica. So it has its own, you can actually go into each and every component, read the equations inside it. So which is also kind of unique for Modelica environment. And it's meant to design larger systems. So you like system of system kind of simulations. So why was this language created as such? The language was created so that you have some unique problems earlier. So this language came in when people were actually writing CN Fortran code to do the simulation, which was little cumbersome. It couldn't handle casualness. It could handle stiff or nonlinearities, and that's why Modelica was born. Modelica was an answer to those problems so that it is easy to use. It does casualness analysis, which I'll talk about later. It is object oriented, and nobody owns Modelica. So it is open source. And then what was the goal of Modelica? The goal of Modelica was, as an engineer, I should be able to do simulation on my systems. It could be a hydraulic system, it could be a thermal system, it could be pneumatic, electric, doesn't matter. But I should be able to do this dynamic behavior. And it should be able to handle non-linearities. As I said, if your equation is an algebraic equation or differential algebraic equation, there were few solvers which couldn't solve it, but Modelica was an answer to that. And then it's been used in industry from 2000. So it's been like 2 decades now that Modelica has been used extensively in industry for these kind of applications. So just coming to a slide on casualness to give you a comparison, I think a lot of people still use block diagram approach in order to do simulation in terms of they would create this mathematical block diagram, run the simulation. There are 2 key problems to that. One is it is a casual system. That means the flow of energy always happens in one direction, right? Say suppose both are, what you see here is both are electric motor models with a spring under dampener and the load, and this is the same equivalent of that in the block diagram. For example, if you take a motor and add a gearbox, the gearbox will show some resistance to that motor. So there are forces, one force is trying to rotate the motor, another force is trying to resist the motor. So that is what we call as a backlash. So getting this backlash is very difficult in a casual model or a block diagram because you need to add negative loops wherever you see backlash, and that becomes a problem. So in kind of tell you in small words, what I'm saying is, if you have a problem with nonlinearities when you're looking at physical modeling, then acasual where flow of energy in both directions plays a major part, and that is the answer what Modelica gives with respect to block diagram. Block diagram doesn't allow you to do that kind of simulation. The flow of energy happens in both the directions, right? So this brings me to the part on Dymola. So what is Dymola and what is Modelica is some of the common questions that we encounter. So I'll put it in this way. Modelica is a language and Dymola is a Modelica compiler. So let me draw some comparison with other systems that exist in the world. For example, C is a language, and in order to compile C language, you need a C compiler. It could be MSVC compiler, it could be Borland C, it could be Turbo C. Similarly, Modelica is a language, and you need a compiler to compile that Modelica language, and Dymola is that Modelica compiler. So Dymola is not just a Modelica compiler; it is an environment where you actually can create complex system simulations, but having Modelica as a base. So basically, it gives you, it kind of enhances Modelica's capability to do simulation. So it can handle multidisciplinary problems. If you're looking at high fidelity simulation for complex system, Dymola is a very good tool to have, and it also has this library which is open and extensible. So you can actually look at all the equations and code within the library, and you can also build other libraries on top of it. So Dymola has its own uniqueness. As I said, it handles multidisciplinary complex systems. When you're talking about high fidelity systems, Dymola is, with respect to multidisciplinary, Dymola is one of the best tools to have. Everything and anything around Dymola is Modelica. So all the equations, all the components of its libraries are written using Modelica. And we have some free and commercial libraries. So we handle acasualness, which happens in any dynamic simulation. And it is more of symbolic based processing involved. It's not equation where you actually get into equations, more of symbols and components using which you actually do the simulation. So it has other benefits such as it's extensible in intuitive modeling, performance-wise, all that is covered. And we also support the floating point algorithm. So this is the industry standard for floating point algorithm. All the computation that happens within Dymola happens using floating point precision numbers. So coming to that, with Dymola, what we give is a Modelica standard library. So Modelica standard library comes from the Modelica org, and they have written all these libraries, the base libraries for mechanical systems, fluid systems, thermal systems, and all that. So all these comes as part of the package. So just give you a demo on that. Let me quickly open Dymola. So I'm opening Dymola on the flow. So you can see Dymola here, right? And what you can see is you could also see the libraries. You can see the electric, mechanical, magnetic, fluid, thermal as part of the library. So let me take a very simple example to give you an idea of how it works. Let's go to mechanical. Let's go to rotational. Let's go to components. So you can see some components like inertia, drift, spring, dampener. When we pull an inertia, we will pull a string, right? So in order to run it, I need a source. I take torque as a source, right? And then I need some input to the torque as well. So probably what I'll do is I'll just minimize these, go to blocks, go to sources, right? And then I'll take a constant. Basically, I've just taken a constant block attached to a torque block, and inertia block, and then a spring block. Simple. So you can imagine this as a shaft. This is the inertia of the shaft. This is a spring stiffness to the shaft. You have a torque, and then you have a source for the torque. So, and suppose somebody wants to see what is inside inertia, right click on it, show component. And here is where you can actually see the Modelica. This is what I was talking about, this Modelica language. All the components, everything has been written using Modelica language. And you could also see the mathematical notation. These are the equation which goes into my inertia block, right? So let me run a simple simulation. So before that, I need to give values. So let me say there's a torque of 10 Newton meter as the input to the shaft. The inertia is around 1 kg per meter square. And then I have some stiffness in terms of 0.01 Newton meter per radians. And then I quickly go to simulation, run the simulation, right? So I'm compiling the simulation. So it will hardly take a minute, right? Let's run the simulation and I'm ready. And I can go to spring. So at the end of the spring, flange B, I'm plotting an angle. So for the given torque, I know what is the angle being generated. So this is what actually you do with Daimler or the Mauldika environment. You have a library, you pull the components, build a system, and do simulation. And it can be multidisciplinary systems or individual systems like electrical, hydraulic, pneumatic, and fluid. All that can be managed. So with Mauldika standard library, we also give you some add-on libraries, which is at no cost, like the synchronous for control systems, model management for version control. Then we have F-tire if you're doing, if you want to interface with the F-tire, which is usually used in vehicle dynamics. And then we have testing for testing simulation. And we also have basic vehicle interfaces. So along with this free libraries, we also have commercial libraries. So we have for electrical domain, we have electrical powertrain, battery, electric power systems. So basically, if somebody is interested in work electrical vehicles, you can pick and choose battery library or electric powertrain or fuel cell as hydrogen library, and then we have catered these libraries for them. We also have vehicle dynamics, power system, powertrains, and we also have engines library. This is for people who are working on automobiles. So we have dedicated libraries for it. And then we also have thermodynamics libraries in terms of thermal systems. If somebody is doing a CO2 cycle, if somebody is doing battery cooling, you need a system cooling. If somebody is doing fluid dynamics in relevance to CFD, you can use fluid dynamics. Somebody is doing a power plant, thermal power plant simulation, we have Clara library for that. And then we have human comfort. If somebody is doing cabin cooling for a car or an aerospace application, we have that. And then we have HVAC is for building cooling applications. And then finally, we also have other specific domain-wise. We have fluid power for hydraulics, pneumatics for pneumatic system, flight dynamics, flexible body for flexible body simulation. So these are some of the add-on libraries that we have as commercial libraries along with that. So with that, I think I've used my 15 minutes. Okay. So next we have Vijay Kamesh, who will be talking about how Daimler can be used using some of the case studies in terms of transformability, aerospace, energy, and high tech. So over to you, Vijay.
Thanks, Kiran. Thanks, Kiran. Thanks for the brief introduction of the Daimler. And thanks for the brief introduction about me to the Sharad. So I hope everyone can see my screen and I can hear my voice clearly. Kiran, can you give some suggestions? Is it clear to you?
Yes, we can hear you fine, Vijay.
Okay, then I will proceed. Okay, as Kiran explained very well about the Daimler, the Mauldika libraries can be used to develop a system models in the major industrial domain. First, we will look into the aircraft domain. The highlighted libraries helps to develop a complete system for the aircraft, fighter jet, high speed, high altitude flights, unmanned aircraft vehicle, where the fluid power hydraulic and pneumatic system library helps to develop the complex fluid circuits for the landing gear actuator control application in the aircraft domain. The flight dynamics library helps to model and analyze overall performance of the aircraft, including aerodynamics, airframe control system, propulsion, and also be able to model the environment. The flight dynamics library can be interfaced with a flight gear simulator for the graphic visualization, and steering control option is also available. So here you can see the thermal system library covers a modeling of the fluid medium and thermodynamic properties. With the integration of the cooling library, can develop the heat transfer models for the aircraft vehicles. The HVAC library for the optimize the design and performance of the heat, ventilation, and air conditioning system, and it can integrate with the other libraries such as fluid dynamics, human comfort library for the complete detailed HVAC models. The human comfort and HVAC system library covers the airflow inside the cabin, can model the airflow inside the cabin, pressure, temperature level, and ventilation, and overall human comfort inside the cabin in a mathematical figure. So the power electronics and modules application, power electronics related applications, switches like ID converters, electric machines, and all other control systems can be modeled using the electric power system library. So now we have seen a little about the what are the libraries can be useful in the aircraft domain. So we will have some demo of how this for sample example use case in flight dynamics.
So here I have one simple use case for the flight dynamics here. So this is a steering control where you can give the position. I mean, you can control all the steering positions of the pitch, yaw, angle of every controls can be modeled. I mean, all modeled over here. And this is the main flight dynamics block of the aircraft. And this is the thing I explained, like the flight gear simulator, where we can interface with this Daimola and we can control over from this flight simulator. So we will do the real-time simulation. So this simulation is in a real-time simulation, so that we can, when the interface between this flight gear simulator and the Daimola, when I changing the elevator position of the nose level, so that we can change the value. So I will simulate this is for 50 seconds. So it's a compiling now. And it started initialization. So now you can see, like by changing the nose level of the aircraft, like you can parallelly plotting the results for the elevator position of it. And you can see the simulating time, real simulating time, like how, I mean, right now we are simulating for the 50 seconds. I'm just doing the nose level up and down to control the, controlling the stage, just nose level of up and down. So now we have plotted the results for the elevator position for this using the flight gear simulations. So the next, we will see about another applications of the flight and aircraft domain. So this is a landing gear model, which is completely developed from the Modelica standard libraries and the multi-body libraries and fluid libraries. So this is a complete modeling of the landing gear applications in the aircraft domain. So first we will see here. I have already simulated this model, and we have simulating this for 50 seconds, and this animation, it represents the landing gear. And here what we are going to do is like the extraction and interaction position of this landing gear. So I have already simulated. You can see the simulation results. So now the landing gear is retracted in its position, and similarly the plot is showing like the retractor position of the engine, and it's extracted to the outside. So this is one of the sample use cases for the aircraft domain. So now we will go back to the slide. So this is in a flight dynamics library. It's a completely dedicated to the for the aerospace domain. The flight dynamic library is used to construct the multidisciplinary flight dynamics models for rigid flight vehicles such as transport military aircraft or unmanned aero vehicles or airships. So as I said before, the air environment models provide functionality to cover on-ground operations up to the at a high speed and a high altitude. The resulting model, for example, used for design analysis in various fields and stages of the aircraft development process. For flight control, law design, as well as for the real-time flight simulation, realistic visualization is performed via the open source flight environment, as I said before. So next we will see about sorry for this. So next domain we will see about as an automotive system. So the complete vehicle dynamics can be studied with the help of these libraries such as engines, powertrains, suspensions, fluid dynamics, thermal systems, and cooling. For the electrical vehicle, the libraries such as battery, hydrogen, electrified powertrain, brushless DC motor helps to model and analyze the electrical vehicle and also the hybrid vehicles. The engine's, powertrain's flexible body and the suspension libraries helps to model and simulate and analyze the conventional vehicle. The battery and hydrogen library covers the energy supply system for the electric and hybrid vehicles. The electrified powertrain and brushless DC motor helps the model to analyze the electrical machines and the power electronics architectures for the switches, converters, other similar electronic architectures. The fluid power is used to model the power steering, braking, suspensions, actual control related systems. The similar to the aircraft domain, the thermal system library, fluid dynamics, human comfort library, HVAC library are intended to model the air conditioning inside the vehicle. Also, the cooling library used to model the cooling system for both the modeling of conventional and electrical vehicle. In addition, the models developed in the library can be taken into the hardware-in-loop simulation for the real-time analysis. Now we will see some example cases for this automotive domain. So this is a drive cycle for a complete vehicle of an electric car. So as you can see here, in the first level, we can see like this is a complete architecture of the vehicle, and you can see the driver here. For this control system, the driver will be acting as a controller, and we can also be able to model the outside environment also by including atmosphere, temperature, velocity outside, and also the road surfaces like bumps and the surface roughness of the roads and all. So we will go in deep into this vehicle architecture. So as I said, this is an electrical vehicle. So the energy supply supplies come from the battery modeling, and it's that connected to the power for the electric drive motors. And this drivers can be connected, electric drive connected to the transmission and drive line directly to the wheels, and power generated directly to the wheels. And where you can see the whole body of the vehicle, and also you can see the brakes, brake control system directly connected to the driver. As you can see, this is in a complete vehicle architecture for a whole complete and for the whole vehicle dynamics analysis. Also, you can see here that, as I said, this is a driver is acting as a controller, where you can see this is a desired actual velocity we have planned, and we are giving to this to the system. And also we are getting the real output data, and we are comparing, and we are comparing instance, the sensing the real data, and we are controlling the clear pitch control system, and we are changing the positions or velocity accordingly. Now we'll go back to the simulation. So as I told, like this is a simulation also already performed, and we have performed the simulation for around 1180 seconds. So here you can see that plots are explaining of the planned velocity and the actual velocity which we get. It's almost close. Now I'll play the simulation, and you can see here. So where you can see the stop, car stop and start. So parallel to what we have given as an input here. Similarly, in this plot also you can see about like the desired torque that we developed from this vehicle, and also the rotor speed. Also for the battery management, we can see the state of charge of the battery over the period of around 80 over the whole cycle, and this is in a power developed by the machines. So this is in a So what I'm trying to say is like this way we can completely develop a whole vehicle in an easy way, and you can easily visualize the results in a better way, and it's always a better for the development of the product. So another example I want to show it for this related to the automotive domain is the battery management system. It's in a simple battery thermal management system. This is a simple circuit where we have a battery, and it's connected to the housing port and cold plate, and we are controlling the thermal. We are controlling the circuit over the charging and discharging the current through the hysteresis loop, and this is a switch to control this current source. So inside this battery is packed with a cell grid of 4x4, and we can also house the housing model by using this selecting the options. So this is in a cold plate, which is a geometrical features of it, and we can also select the material of the plate, and also we can select the cool and medium what we are going to use in this example. So here it is in a tank, it's in a reservoir, and it's in a pump through, and it's passed through the cooling plate, and the, whatever the heat generated because of the battery of the discharging and discharging cycle, and we are cooling it down. So this is an example, simulated results of it, and we can see for this our SOC of this battery and the temperature changing very accordingly. So this simulation has been done for 10,000 seconds, approximately near 2.7 hours, and you can see over the period of it, and you can see the temperature variations for the cold plate. Now we'll go back to the next domain. So the next domain we want to see is industrial equipments. So as I said, Diamond on the modular libraries can be helpful to build the mobile and stationary industrial equipments, earth movers, heavy machineries, and other various equipments for other industrial applications. The highlighted libraries cover the design of powertrain, especially the auxiliary drive, variable speed drives, servo drives for the applications such as pump fan drivers, air conditioning system, paper industry, paper machinery, elevator systems, and automotive, and especially in the robotics domain. Also, the libraries such as system cooling thermal system can help to address the heat transfer requirements. The fluid power pneumatic library intended to model analyze the complex fluid networks and actuators and for the control system control related systems for heavy machineries. The brushless DC drives libraries intended to assist the process of designing drive trains containing brushless DC current motors, and it's very detailed in designed in a very detailed level. The features of the integration of multiphysics library is a key for the analysis of electromechanical equipment and application, and helpful for the new innovative designs. So we will see another live example of related to the industrial equipment domain. So this is a complete model of an excavator based on the library from the Fluid Power and Modelica based standard library of mechanical and some basic components from other libraries from the Fluid Power from the Modelica standard library. So here you can see the Fluid Power system and the fluid definition of the fluid. So this is the properties of the fluid where we can easily define. We can also use our own developed fluid medium using this definition of the the properties of the fluid. So we'll see the simulation. Right now you can see this is a simulated. I have done the simulations already. So right now I'm playing the results, and you can see the rotation angle for the arm of the excavator and the bucket of it. So another examples I want to show for the industrial equipment is a simple model of washing machine drive. So this is a simple model of a washing machine drive. So it's from the Modelica standard library of mechanical and electrical and the flexible multi-body flexible libraries, which may helps to develop this model. So we go to the simulation, and we can see right now. So visualizing the results. So initially, this is a plot for the revolution of the washing machine drum. So initially, it was started rotating very slowly. As the time progress, like you can see, the frequency of the rotation is increased, and you can see as a result in the animation also. So this is one of the simple sample cases for the industrial equipment domain. So the next domain I want to explain about is the energy process and utilities. So the libraries covers the modeling and simulation of from the heat generation to the power generation and to the power distribution, and it also covers the cooling and exhaust system modeling in the power plant. So in addition, the latest or the resourceable energy power plant like wind turbine can be developed from the wind power libraries. So in the wind turbine, in the wind power library covers a modeling and simulation of the modern wind turbine. The maximum extractable wind power is calculated based on the power coefficient, which is commonly known as a CP. So this power coefficient is approximation of an required for the dynamic analysis, dynamic investigation for this turbine. So we will see a little about, an example model for this energy process. So this is the model of a complete coal power plant model, where you can see from the steam generation. So from this is in a steam generation, steam generator, and you can see, and you can see the power generation using the simple generator. And you can also see the feed water system and using the different pumps and high pressure, low pressure pumps are used to develop this whole model. So this is a model of a complete coal power plant, and also you can visualize the results of the thermodynamic properties between these lines in the simulation while running the simulation. So in this plot we have already simulated, and in this plot we have plots for the turbine inlet mass flow rate and the turbine pressure, inlet turbine pressure, and the turbine speed capacity of the turbine. So this model, I will run the simulation. I will run the visualization animation, and you can see the variation of the thermodynamic properties of the flow rate, temperature, the pressure, and the enthalpy for this line. Similarly, we can visualize the results for the real-time simulation also is possible, and you can visualize the results for the while you are simulating or emulating your power plant models, or it can be very helpful for the DCS modeling also. So go back to the presentation. So those are the use cases which I have, which I explained about with the live demonstration. So next we will explain about the functional markup interface. The functional markup interface is commonly called as an FMI, which is an open and tool independent to represent dynamic systems of model, which maybe can be seamlessly seamlessly integrated into another modeling and simulation environment. This FMI contains the information of the model in the form of C code and XML files. So basically, this FMI basically consists of two types. One is called a model exchange, and another one is called co-simulation. So typically in industries, the components are developed by a supplier, and it will be integrated by the OEM. This results with a lot of modeling and simulation tools. Transferring to another models or transferring the models to another platform will be a difficult process, and that is a requirement for a neutral file format. Thus, the FMI will be helpful in these scenarios and made the workflow between the supplier and OEM will be made straightforward. Also, the FMI has an option to hide the details of the model when it transferred to the other environment. The overall benefits of the FMI are the selection of the tool can be best suited for each type of analysis while keeping the same model and the earlier validation of the design. The efficiency of the model-based development and investment in simulation model portfolio increases tremendously when models can be reused or repurposed for the different applications. So this is one of the use cases of an FMI. Here, the plant model of an air conditioning system is developed in a Daimler, where the software code of controller developed in another environment, where the controller can be exported as an FM view and it taken into the Daimler where the plant model is available. Thus, the integration between the plant model and the controller model is done in Daimler through the FMI option, and further process can be processed. So these are all the products of the Dassault system. It has an option of FMI that includes model exchange and co-simulation. Also, all the products of the Dassault system can import and export FMU options. The products from the Dassault system covers almost all the process of the development lifecycle, and with the help of the FMU, the workflow between the lifecycle will be easier and flexible. Also, right now, almost in 80 to 85% of the simulation tools have the options of this FMU. So it is very open to the, there is no any restriction of development of your product for any particular software or particular tool only. So thanks for the time, thanks for the listening, and now you can switch back to Kiran for the final presentation.
Okay, so thanks Vijay for taking us through the cases. So quickly on also that we are running short of time, I'll quickly go to the other topics. That is on what's new Daimler 2020 and 3DX Sprint. So I'll be a little quick on this. So as you probably have noticed, we use Daimler 2020X for this demo, and it has a brand new interface. It has all the GUI, the interface all has been changed. So that's been added, and then a lot of been customized. You have it's easy to work with. It's more cleaner and easy to work with Daimler with the 20X. So I had a short video, but probably I will not take you through the entire video. So this is a new interface, the icons, the positioning of the icons, the demo content all has been changed, and then it's more easier and faster to work with. That was the whole goal of having the 20X. Also on the Daimler on the platform, so there are a lot of users who use Daimler on the 3DX platform. The advantage with Daimler on the platform is can easily integrate with the other apps of the Dassault in terms of integrating with CATIA, Innovia, and then you can do integrated systems together. So what I'll do is I'll take you through a short video of how this exactly works. Okay, so let's start with, for example, you're a CATIA user and you have defined your 3D model and the kinematics in CATIA. So this is the example of a car door opening. And then you have kind of two revolute joints that you have defined in CATIA. So what you want to do is you actually want to build a motor and a motor controller for it in Daimler. And then we would want to interface Daimler with CATIA. So what you're doing now is basically doing the CATIA kinematic analysis. So you're looking at the revolute joint, the two revolute joints that you have designed. Probably it's a combination of prismatic and revolute joint, right? And then what you do next is you actually can convert a CATIA model into Daimler. This is an automatic conversion. So if you have a CATIA kinematic model, it automatically creates a Daimler model for you inside that platform. So this is what we have done. So you have converted the 3D CAD into Daimler. And then once it's in Daimler, we can also build a controller. So you're just building a simple controller here to run, to test your, sorry about that. So test your control logic. So what we're doing now is running a simulation, and you can see that. So there's a small control logic to control the door opening and closing, and then you're doing it. So we could also enhance it. We can place in motors. We can build controllers for it. So in this part of the video, you're building a control logic for opening and closing. You're also adding motors here. So you're adding a motor and the gear here. And then what you're doing is you're integrating that with the CATIA, and then you're doing an integrated solution. So you have control logic, you have Daimler models, and then you have CATIA all put together. And then if you have similar FMI, you can also bring that control logic as a C code and integrate here and do the simulation. So that's the whole point of using Daimler on the platform, that it can give you that integrated way of working with things. So the system engineer will work on Daimler, the CAD engineer will work on CATIA, and then we can marry these two engineers, or probably we can bring these two engineers closer to our integrated testing on the platform. And we can also use other apps of the platform to also integrate the requirements. You can also build an architecture. You could also do the simulation modeling. You can do a real-time 3D simulation all on the platform, given that the Daimler is on the platform. And also that we have been creating new apps for Daimler. So one of the most recent apps that we have created is called the System Simulation app. The idea is that there could be one set of designers who actually develop Daimler models, work on Daimler models, and there could be another set of people like analysts or users who don't necessarily have to work on a Daimler model, but what they do is they run the simulation and work on the data generated by the Daimler model. So that's a new app which works on a web. It's called System Simulation app. So the idea is that the people who actually do only the testing or do the analytics part, we export Daimler as a web application, and they can work only on the simulation or the testing phase of it, basically for post-processing. So with that, we'll come to an end of this WebEx. There are a couple of slides I have to highlight where you can get information on Daimler. So one of the information that you can get on Daimler is from YouTube. There are a lot of videos uploaded for different industries, for different disciplines, you can always feel free to go to YouTube channel, watch the relevant content on Daimola. And you could also go to a couple of our email sites. So we have one web link for Daimola where you can actually understand what is Daimola, what are its features, new capabilities, new version update, all that gets happens there. We also have link to Modelica.org where you can read about the new capabilities of Modelica. And then there's also FMI org where you get update on FMI. So these are three important links if you're working with the Daimola world. So with that, I'll come to an end of my presentation of this webinar. I would thank everyone who has joined us. So this is the time we could take up some questions. Right?
Yeah,
so Sharath is there with us. If
Yes. There are some questions from the audience. The first question goes like this. This is from Virakum. What is Daimola behavior modeling and standalone Daimola?
Okay, so Daimola behavior modeling is the same Daimola, but it's on the platform. So we have two versions of Daimola. One is called a standalone, where it runs independently, as we have been showing you till now. And then there's another version of Daimola which works on the platform, as I just showed you now. So it's the same Daimola, it's just that it's on the platform and can be integrated with other Dezo apps available on the platform.
Okay. The second question is from Mr. Swapnil. The question goes like this. The tier model in Daimola, does it include the tier coefficients?
Sorry, Print, can you just repeat the question?
The tier model in Daimola, does it include the coefficients? That's all is the question.
Yes. So, yeah, probably I would want to understand this question more in detail. At this point of time, I'll give you an answer as yes.
All right. So there is another question from Sudev Nair. How is Daimola placed with respect to AIMSIM, AMESIM?
Okay, so AMESIM is a competition. So we kind of compete both in physical modeling space. The only difference between AMESIM and Daimola is the Modelica. So Daimola is purely on Modelica open source language, whereas the AMESIM components or blocks have been written using C. So and Daimola lets you see the equations within the block. I'm not sure about AMESIM. So the difference at this point of time is we actually use open source language like Modelica to do the computation, whereas AMESIM is based on C or Java kind of application.
Okay, there's another question from Sudev Nair himself. How do I use Daimola to develop digital twin?
So I think you saw the video where we did the car door example, right? That's exactly a scenario of a digital twin. So you are creating a digital twin of your vehicle with all the intricacies, your kinematics, your motor, your controller. So it's an exact replica, but it's in the digital world. So Daimola will help you with the system modeling in terms of modeling mechanical systems, hydraulic, pneumatic, electrical systems. It can integrate with CATIA kind of tool, CAD tool, and it can also get in third-party tool or solution. In that scenario, it was a controller which we can bring it from a C code and integrate. So this is our way of modeling your digital twin.
Okay, this question is from Joe Jacob. His question goes like this. For example, if we are using a condenser from one library and some other thermal component from another library, we see that the connectors are of different format. So this becomes an issue. Could you shed some light on this?
Okay, so the connectors is one of the criteria of the Modelica world as such. So I don't know if you're using air conditioning library, your connectors will carry not only pressure, mass flow rate, enthalpy flow rate. That might be the information that is carried in connector. And I don't know what you're interfacing with. For example, you're taking a Modelica standard, the fluid library, it has its own connector. So what happens is usually the providers of air conditioning library or providers of the library, they do give some adapters also. So yeah, again, I would have to look at your problem to explain or understand where you're going wrong or how it can be. But yeah, so connectors are very unique, purposely defined property of Modelica. And if the connectors don't match, then you can't do simulation. How do you match the connectors? It all depends upon if you have adapters or you're willing to write your own adapter. But that can be since Modelica is open source, you can easily write an adapter for interfacing one kind of connector to another.
Thanks, Kiran. We have a long question. However, we'll end up the session with the last question, and we'll get back to you with answers on emails. Yeah, the last question is from Srinivasulu Reddy. His question goes like this: battery electrochemical modeling can be done in Dymola. I mean, can the battery electrochemical modeling be done on Dymola?
Yes, we have a battery library, and we do have a electrochemical model with it, where you define the SCR. You can also go about and define the chemical properties of your battery, as well as the SCR layer growth within the battery. All that can be managed. So yes, the answer is yes, we can do that.
All right. There are a lot more questions to be answered, Kiran. However, since we are running out of time, we'll individually get back to everyone on email. Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.